What's good, everybody? It's your boy Durrel.
And it's your boy TG.
Welcome back. We have another interesting segment right now with a very special guest, our boy Sal.
Yo, what up, TDP family?
You know what I'm saying? What up, Sal Jah? Good to have you on the show, bro.
Yo, it's an honor to be on the show, man. I just want to first thank you guys very much for having me on. Shout out to the boy T-Gun. Shout out to the boy Durrel.
Hey,
you guys are doing some big things, I just want to say much appreciated.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Yo, Sal, man, the reason why we wanted to get you on this episode here, you really love your music,
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know your music in and out, like the producers that were behind the work, the writers and everything like that. I really appreciate how much you yourself appreciate the art that's behind the final product. That's what most people miss about just the art behind the music,
Well, just to get into that, man, again, thank you so much for noticing that. Just to get into that, I started listening to the music in a beautiful time of music, which was the late 90s, right? And I guess, I don't know if you guys would both agree, but holds a special place in my heart. And it's where a lot of the infrastructure in today's music comes from. I just want to say, just coming up from that vibe alone is what made me have the passion to kind of care about music the way I do. And just coming up as a consumer and as someone that just grew up in Toronto, I really love what we're doing in Toronto music, man. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Especially us being raised in Canada and Toronto. Tony himself, he's our boy, he's from Texas. So he did not grow up out here. So he did not witness, but he did not witness guys like Drake, Tory Lanez, even guys like Cardinal Official when his career was at its peak. He wasn't over here in Canada experiencing what we were experiencing at those times. You know what I mean? So even with us, like you said, the 90s music, I would say that Canada sound, that new Toronto sound, I would say Cardinal Official, Chaos, those guys, they laid down the strong foundation for where that Canada music and that Canada sound is now.
Exactly.
Right?
If it wasn't for those guys, man, I don't know if you'd be on the map right now.
Oh, most definitely. But then again, I wouldn't say it's because they're Canadian. I would just say because these guys are just flat out talented, man. I believe talent doesn't matter where you are. If it's good enough and if it's great enough, your voice will be heard.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if you guys remember back in the day when Cardinal signed his deal with Akon. And like when we heard that, we're like, yo, Cardinal's with Akon, like on Convict Records. We couldn't believe like someone from Toronto was gonna enter the mainline like that.
Seriously, man.
This was before Drake.
Yeah, and people seem to forget Cardinal Official, man. He was like the first ever Toronto artist that was on mainstream radio with that Toronto slang, Exactly. Yeah, this guy pretty much popularized that patois lingo that's intertwined with the Toronto language.
Patois.
You know what I mean?
Patois.
Yeah, definitely, sure. Bro, definitely, man. And like for our listeners out there, to give you guys some context, pretty much, that was our intro. This episode is about, truly we wanted to show some love to Toronto music. Because like they said, I'm not from around here, right? I'm not from Toronto originally. I definitely come from that 90s, that 90s clotho of hip hop music. But, obviously with me, it was a lot of Wu-Tang Clan, was a lot of Tribe Called Quest. And then obviously back in Houston, where I'm from, you got the Ghetto Boys, you got Outkast and some of these guys, you got, a lot of those type of music. But it was way different, like the vibe was different, the sound was different. And then now that I'm out here in Canada, I'm definitely noticing the musical influences here go so much, they're so influenced by so many different parts of the world. And that's what my allure to Toronto music is, and especially Toronto hip hop, because now when I listen to it, I hear, the Caribbean influences, especially with lyrics with the patois in it. I hear, the dance hall influences. You hear a lot of Afro beats. You also hear your typical, old school boom bap type stuff. So it's just got this it's got a beautiful melting pot of sounds, I think, is what makes Toronto music so fucking great. To me, it's so different from everything else in the world. But also, music nowadays, I think, has such an influence from music out here. And I feel like ain't not enough people talking about it. To me, giving Toronto the love that it deserves. Because I remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but y'all remember when Houston was like really, really hot in like the mid 2000s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where
Slim Thug,
yeah,
Wish a House.
Exactly, Slim Thug, and you had who? Mike Jones, and you had Paul Wall.
Wall.
Right. Do you remember how crazy Houston sound and Houston artists like got crazy big, right? I feel like and I was there, obviously I was still like, man, I was like graduating high school, going through high school. So I remember that was a big deal in Houston. You know what I mean? Like pretty much Houston was like dominating the airwaves, man, basically. So what I'm trying to say is that what I'm witnessing here is I truly think that type of influence and that type of blow up, I think is about to happen Toronto to worldwide R&B and fucking hip hop music.
I think that has already started, man. With guys like Drake, The Weeknd, Tory Lanez, I would say those three right now are the pioneers of the new Toronto. Because like every new Toronto rapper or something like that, or singer, R&B singer or something like that, they all try to emulate Tory Lanez sound, The Weeknd sound, even Party Next Door. I'll put Party Next Door up there also in terms of the pioneer of the new age Toronto sound. You know? As like you were saying before, in terms of Toronto be just how diverse we are in terms of our sound. Bro, like we have so many different cultures. So that's like multiple different types of style. But the thing I love about Toronto artists is how they're able to mesh all those cultures, all those sounds seamlessly, you know? Drake, The Weeknd, and Party Next Door, they all somewhat have like that international sound. So they're able to collaborate with artists from all around the world. You have Drake flying out to the UK, doing tracks with gigs. You know what I'm saying? And then this guy flies out to Africa. This guy did a track with Starboy. You know what I mean? So he's...
And Bad Bunny.
And also the versatility of these artists that are coming out of Toronto. They're very talented artists that are coming out of Toronto. You know what I'm saying?
Sal, you want to go ahead and chime in on that, bro?
I was going to jump in and just say that I really love that that comparison you made with the hip hop of the Houston scene with the Toronto scene, because that was such a blow up all at once. And I feel like this is like the same. They had those three guys, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, Mike Jones. Now we got Drake, The Weeknd, Tory Lanez, and then we're blowing up, taking it over finally.
Yeah, bro. Definitely, man. And I see it, right? I see it big time with, the music, man. It's really, really good. And even to take it another level, that third level, know what I'm saying, TDP. But even whenever that shit was happening, bro, like obviously the big guys blew up. I remember Paul Wall and Chamillionaire, when one of their very first album came out, it was kind of like, it was really underground, real street, but it was called Get Your Mind Correct. And bro, that album, Screwed and Chopped, was one of the greatest shit to ever hit Houston streets, and it's still talked about to this day. That shit was local hot and like southern hot, right? Like down south, everybody knew about it, right? But then eventually it hit like the hardcore airwaves, you know what I'm saying? And then I remember Slim Thug jamming a bunch of his mixtapes and all his shit before, and him and the Boys in Blue, like his crew. Bro, this shit was so underground, right? And then the list goes on and on. So I remember when these guys were literally just local, amazing MCs that we all loved and listened to, and they were obviously hitting our radio waves, say 97.9 The Box in Texas. So with that in mind, you guys probably, and obviously I want you to get your guys' thoughts, you guys saw, Tory Lanez before he's national, like the way, like big now. You guys saw Party Next Door, some of these guys. So who would you guys say, and besides Drake, because obviously we all know Drake is the hip hop, like he's like the superstar, right? But outside Drake, who would you guys say is that like local, amazing talent that everybody knew that now you see is like, man, this guy's going to take us to another level?
Tory Lanez, man. Tory Lanez. Like for me personally, I've witnessed this guy's growth from his projects from years ago until the sound that he has now. This guy was standing outside of the Scarborough Town Center handing out his mixtapes. Mans are dissing him, like, you know what I'm saying? But now this guy is one of the top artists in the world. A track without a Tory Lanez feature is not a track. But a track with a Tory Lanez feature, best believe that shit is going to go top 10 on the charts. So witnessing that growth as an artist and even as an individual, especially growing up over here, witnessing that is very astounding at itself, Also, even today, I was bumping Division. Man, those cats are bad, man. Those cats are bad. I don't know why they haven't hit the spotlight like they should. Their sound is one of a kind. What I mean? So I think most definitely Division, in terms of that Toronto sound, they might be the next pioneers to take their talent to the next level.
I just wanted to chime in there, and the person I've seen grow a lot was The Weeknd, right? Because I remember back in 2010, I went to the very OVO Fest at the Molson Amphitheater, right? And The Weeknd, he didn't even have all his hair then. It was just really short. It was really short, and I didn't know who he was. He was just some guy in like some freaking jean vest.
Yeah.
And when he came on, it was the opening act. So of course, not all the fans are in the stadium. Everyone's walking in, getting their drinks, getting their food. And he was performing, and I was like struck. I was like, watching. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like shazamming every song from the House of Balloons. Every song
House of Balloons, bro. That was like 2009, 2010?
That was about 2009, 2010, exactly, man. So he performed that. He performed that for us at the very first opening, the OVO Fest, man. That was a treat. That was truly a treat to see all those songs live, and to see that 10 years ago to now. He has, well, last week, I think 2 weeks ago, before the 2C slide, he had the #1 track, which is Blinding Light.
Like, yeah, that's a fire ass track.
Somebody that I was going to Shazam 10 years ago to now they have the #1 track. It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, so I just want to reiterate on that thought there. Even myself, when was it? About, let's say 2010, I can't remember the last time I went, was when I went to OVO. Party Next Door was the opening act, right? So he was the opening artist. So to be honest, I wasn't impressed by the performance, right? So I looked over to my boy. I'm like, yo, who the hell is that artist on stage? Guy's like, yo, that's Party. I was like, nah, no way, right? But then fast forward to today, Party dropped an album. What was it, about a week ago?
Yep, started a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
a couple more than that.
Yeah. It was about end of last month, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. And that album is beautiful, man. It's beautifully done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just like you're saying, just to see the growth, just from a guy who was just on the come up to where they are now. Just that growth alone is just, especially someone that's from my backyard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just to witness that growth as a fan, it's a sight to see, man.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I'm actually digging it. I was jamming his album before we got on the episode right now, and I was like, yo, this shit is fire, man. I'm really feeling this big time. And I remember, to go back on The Weeknd, dude, The Weeknd, I remember the first time I ever listened to House of Balloons. Dude, that shit hit my radar in H-Town in around 2012. Because I remember this little honey I was messing with at the time. She had put me on The Weeknd, right? She had we was messing around one day. And this was, again, back in 2012. So, you know what I mean? My girl listens to it. She don't think nothing crazy. But I remember her throwing this dude on. And I asked her, I was like, yo, who is that? And she was like, oh, that's some dude named The Weeknd. I was like, Weeknd? She's like, yeah. She's like, I don't know, some Canadian dude. But that fool makes some sexy ass music. And I was like, man, for real. So that's just crazy how you guys saw this dude out here pretty much like, when he was brand new and nobody, hit my radar way in Houston, even before I got to know you guys 2 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even myself, the first time hearing about the House of Balloons was one of my boys. His name is Josh. We were in summer school, right? So we're in summer school. This guy's just playing some tune in the background. I'm telling like, yo, who the hell is that? At first, guys, I thought it was Michael Jackson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I look up to my boy. I'm like, yo, bro.
Boy, that sang on Thriller.
You know? Yes. I look up to my boy Josh. I'm like, yo, who the hell is that? He's like, yo, that's The Weeknd. I'm like, who the fuck's The Weeknd? He's like, yo, this guy's from Mississauga. He's a Saga kid. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Really? So that's when I started bumping The Weeknd. You know what I'm saying? So from then, and also just to witness how his voice has matured. His voice now, bro, it's a thing of perfection. Like, if you go back, do like a time lapse in terms of The Weeknd's sound, you can tell how much time he's put behind the music to perfect his voice and his craft. You know what I'm saying?
He's an amazing artist.
Yeah, he's amazing, bro. Big fan for sure. My favorite Weeknd album is the one, what's it called? I forgot what it's called, but it's the one where it's all black, the album, like the cover. It came out, I want to say like around 2016, I think.
Beauty and the Madness?
Yes, that's my favorite Weeknd album, man. I love every track on that album. I'm a big fan of. It's got, I don't know, this mix between like darkness, but like also beauty, even like sexiness. Like, I don't know, man. When I listened to the album, I was like, yo, this shit hits every fucking possible like emotion you can possibly get listening to an R&B album. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, bro, big fan. So with that, man, like, and again, to just kind of stay on that, because I really think, again, just from the big blow up that I think is about to happen with Toronto music, is outside of those guys too, man. As far as who do you guys think right now is going to be, say, that next like hip hop guy? Not necessarily, because the Party Next Door, they sing. I don't really consider them more like hip hop artists, like rappers. They're more to me, like R&B artists, right? Which is dope. So I was jamming some Tory Lanez and I was feeling them, but there's a lot of underground cats that I'm feeling out here in Toronto too. But who would you guys say is, a hip hop artist, like a true like MC that not enough people are talking about?
Yeah, I'll go with 88 Glam. Like I said, man, those cats are very underrated.
And you know who brought them up?
Yeah, Nav, your boy Nav.
And they're signed to XO. So the Weeknd's been showing them in late too, right?
Yeah. Weeknd has his own record label?
Yeah, XO Records, and they have 88 Glam on there too. Same with Nav.
No shit. Okay, no, I didn't know that, bro. That's pretty fucking crazy. That's actually really crazy. No, I had no idea, man. So see, shit like that, I think is pretty dope. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro.
Man, I love their sound, man. They're beautiful. They have a beautiful sound. Those two cats.
Yeah, I was checking them out. I liked them too, man. 88 Glam, when I was jamming them earlier today as well, they got this dope ass, like, for me at least, just kind of just a quick listen. I was like, yo, these guys got this dope ass, like, Migos, but like Toronto Migos. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I was feeling it. I was like, I'm feeling this shit big time. You know what I mean? I'm like, cause Migos got some dope shit too. And then I was like, yo, we got fucking, Toronto man's Migos,
Yo, they're dope, man. They're dope.
Hell yeah.
They have one of my favorite tracks from them is Bali with your boy Nav. Oh man, that track goes. Even that boy Nav is doing this thing, man, for a brown boy.
Nav, bro. Nav is crazy. Rexdale, shout out to Rexdale.
Hey, yeah, man. You got, especially his come up, man. You gotta respect his hustle. Especially
SoundCloud rapper.
Define the odds, especially as a brown boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta love it.
How hard do you think it is to become a rapper, especially a very successful rapper, being a brown boy?
It's funny how you mention that, Durrel, because Nav is actually, I believe, 30 years old.
Really?
So, in the rap game, that's considered very old.
Very old.
It took him so long with all those things against him to finally blow up, about a year or two ago on the main stage.
Wow.
Yeah, so with all those odds against him, he's a brown boy, he's from Toronto, he's short, you know what I mean? So all those odds against him, and he still blew up. SoundCloud. Shout out to SoundCloud.
Shout out to SoundCloud, and we gotta respect his hustle, man. This guy never gave up. The guy's like, I don't give a fuck if I'm 5 foot whatever, if I'm brown, especially from Toronto. You know what I mean? But he has such a unique sound that it doesn't really matter. Like I said before, if you're talented, you put the time in. It just takes that one blow up. It just takes that one track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you guys, man. And with that in mind too, to kind of something I thought about right now, because this is, to me, and again, my experience from coming from Houston, Texas, to here was like, man, honestly, it was a culture shock for me, big time, right? But one thing I definitely noticed out here, and you guys can attest, is that because obviously Canada is old Canada, right? It's old Canada, eh? You know what I'm saying? Where they'll play cricket and or not cricket, but they'll play fucking
curling?
What's that? Yeah, curling on TSN before they'll play a fucking Raptors, or Rockets game, right?
Oh, hell yeah,
that's the country we live in. Especially when it comes to like hip hop culture and shit like that. I feel like that's the odds we're against already, right? And obviously I think, with the Toronto Raptors winning the championship last year, I think really helped swing a little bit more shit towards our favor. You know what I mean? When it comes to like giving us more love, like, actually like hip hop culture and basketball and sports, like shit, like not hockey. You know what I mean?
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I think basketball and the hip hop, the correlation in terms of Toronto music going up is because of Toronto basketball. Because Toronto music in the last 6 years, that's when it's been the most successful ever.
Exactly. Right? So that's where I want to piggyback with you guys, right? Because obviously you guys, fucking Durrel, you know what I'm saying? You African, black, Sal, brown, Guyana, right, Sal?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you guys are the minority out here. You know what I mean? So obviously and me being a minority as well, our experience in life is different, man. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to get at is I find a lot of stuff when it comes to like Canadian hip hop and stuff like that. A bad rap I feel like Canada has is that Canada's real nice, that Canada is real soft. So do you guys think because of that stigma that Canada essentially is kind of soft, do you guys think that a lot of hip hop artists in Canada, because like you said, Nav, it took them how long to get going? Do you guys think that's a big reason why I think they probably don't get a lot more love because of that stigma?
I don't think it's a love thing. I think it's like the belief factor of what you're spitting. You know what I mean? Like, so let's say now some Toronto rappers rapping about like gang banging, doing this, doing that. Especially for like you said before, that nice factor. It's kind of hard for someone else to grasp that quote unquote Canadian man or whatsoever like that is actually doing those things, because we don't really hear about those things happening in Canada. But then if a rapper now, let's say from down south, talking about like catching bodies, doing this, doing that, that's more believable, because we hear shit. No, realistically though, you know what I'm saying? Because you hear it because that's like a regular occurrence over there. That's not really a regular occurrence over here. We might get the 1-2 homicide here and there, but it's not as prominent as it is elsewhere, right? So once there's like hood rappers from Toronto, like that's why hood rappers that come from Toronto don't really blow up unless if you're Baka.
Yeah, that's a true point there.
You know what I'm saying? Because like as a Toronto man, our sound is Drake, Weeknd, Party Mo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's our sound. That's our music. Because, like, what we do over here, we're nice. We vibe. And we're in our feelings. Us Canadians, we're always in our feelings. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're so nice. But you don't want to cross us. You know what I mean? But, like, so I think that's more believable. Like, Drake's stories, Party's stories, the Weeknd stories, they're more believable and more easy to listen to than a guy who's probably singing about spraying an entire freaking crowd. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's not part of our heritage. That's not part of our history as Torontonians or as Canadians.
Big time. What's your thoughts on this, Sal?
I totally agree with that. You know what I mean? That's why I think it was so easy for Drake and The Weeknd, those guys, to blow up, because they're not necessarily making music about that kind of stuff.
And that's facts. And even if you do look at it, even till this day, the top rappers in Canada, they're not rapping about gangbanging or anything like that. At one point in time, there was a Canadian rapper. His name was Classified. You saw? Remember that dude?
I remember Classified. Where's that guy now, though?
You know what I mean? But like, but he was able to at least get to the mainstream media. Even that boy Kanan, you remember that guy? When I get older, I will be stronger. Yeah. They call me freedom, just like a wave. All right, I don't want to get sued for
Was a big tune though. Was a big tune.
Big tune. Yeah, that tune was in 2K.
Yeah.
And that was a very revolutionary song. You know what I mean? I think this was around the time there was some kind of pandemic or epidemic that was going on in the world. It's slipping my mind right now. But that was a song that all the celebrities were singing. You remember that?
Yeah,
they did like a montage.
Yeah, I remember that, man. It was a powerful song.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, man, in terms of Canadian music and Canadian artists, we produce quality. Most of the artists that are in the forefront of Canadian music, or even in the past, they all put Canada on the map. I wouldn't just say it's because of Drake. Drake is not the only guy that put Toronto on the map. Vince Carter put Toronto on the map before Drake ever did.
For sure. Vince Carter was the most voted for All-Star that year, wasn't he?
You know what I'm saying? So like
Shaq and Kobe and all those guys.
Yes. Look at that, bro. And that's when Toronto started getting some kind of like notoriety elsewhere, outside of Canada. Yeah, bro.
Definitely, bro. Who would y'all say, man? Like, because again, I want to know like y'all's experience out here growing up, man, especially when y'all was in like high school, middle school. Like when Drake was still acting and shit. Who were y'all jamming out here, bro? Like, who was like before Drake for y'all? Or like Sal, I'll let you start it, bro.
It had to be Cardinal. Like me and Durrel mentioned earlier, Cardinal was really that person who was on Much Music making the Toronto rap videos. He was at a government performing at the clubs. You know what I mean? So he was that one guy who made it poppin' for us and made it possible because, again, like I mentioned, he got signed to Akon, Convict Records, right? So his birth into the music game in terms of the American game is what kind of started us all on the roll.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
So you got to big up Cardinal, man. Cardinal is a hip hop pioneer for us. He's like it's crazy.
Big time. Even that boy Snow.
Snow, big up the man Snow. I forgot about Snow.
Dude, I just thought he was Canadian a couple months ago, yo.
Guinness World Record for the fastest song or something like that?
Really?
Let me search it up right now.
Informer, that song, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Informer, yeah.
I lick your bum down.
Yeah, that shit's fire, yo. That's actually a fire-ass track. I remember being a kid when that shit came out too, man.
You know it's funny though. Like I didn't realize it was a freaking white boy till I was in grade 10. So we had study hall, so we were in the library. So I'm just freaking YouTube and shit. So this track popped up, clicked it. I'm like Snow. I'm like, who the hell Snow? Google Snow, little white boy from Pickering. I'm like, what?
That's actually wild, yo. That's actually wild, man. Yeah, and it's crazy too, man, because when I got down here, it's obviously, Americans, and I'll be first one to say, Americans, we got our head up our asses a lot, man. We don't really know about a lot of shit going on around the world outside of America, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, of course, there were so many actors and artists and shit that I had no idea were Canadian, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But anyways, so with that in mind, man, I mean, it's pretty dope that, these other guys, Snow, Cardinal Official, Kanan, because I know Kanan too, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know some of his music as well, like some of that shit's hot. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I remember when Drake hit the scene in Houston, bro, that shit was some of the hottest fucking music we had heard in a long time, yo. Like him and what Lil Wayne were doing and shit with Young Money, I was like, yo, buddy. Yeah, bro, there was some dope ass shit, man. Like I was a big fan of, Drake's early shit.
Yo, the first time I ever heard Drake, I would say grade 8 going to grade 9. So this was back when they played rep basketball. So we're on our way. I think we're going up to Windsor, and then my boy connected his phone to the car. This was when you had to use the cassette as the aux cord. you guys remember that? So there was a little connection to the cassette tape. So he connected the cassette. Best. You know what I mean? He plugged in his, I think it was an MP3 at the time, and then this guy busts out some Ransom. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo.
Ransom. Big tune right there.
So I was like, yo, who the hell is this right now? He's like, yo, it's Drake. I'm like, who the hell is Drake? This guy's from Toronto. You never heard of him? Like, I've never once heard of Drake. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And then after this guy played, I think it was November 18th. I think it was like a little Biggie sample. I'm like, yo, bro, this cat's dirty. Right? So then, that's when I started listening to Drake here and there. And then the following year, my grade 9 year, freaking Best I Ever Had came out, and that just took over. That blew up, man.
I wanted to ask you this, Durrel. Yeah. I don't know if you remember Drake's first debut on 106 and Park. Do you remember what that was?
Yo, hold on. Drake's first debut on 106 and Park. I think I know. Is it the track featuring is it LeBron James, the greatest?
No, it's his track from his second mixtape called Comeback Season back in 07. He dropped that, or I believe 08.
What was track?
And it was a song. It was a song, actually, ironically, because, I've been listening to the podcast, mentioned that you're a huge Trey Songz fan.
Yeah.
It was Drake and Trey Songz.
Best I Ever Had?
Girl. No, Replacement Girl.
Replacement Girl. Oh, no way.
You be my replacement girl. That was his first song with your boy Trey Songz on 106 and Park. Yeah.
But yeah, yo, it's funny they mentioned that Drake and Trey Songz used to be best friends back in the day, man.
Back in the day, yeah.
Because apparently Trey Songz wanted to get Drake signed onto his label, right? But because at the time, his record label had never heard of Drake, so they didn't want to take him on. Back then, you need some kind of blow up to at least get signed.
Yeah.
So that's why. Right. So that's why Trey Songz
the cosign.
Mm-hmm. So that's why Trey Songz record label didn't sign him, but then Lil Wayne picked him up.
Yeah.
Damn.
Lil Weezy got on there.
Super smart, for sure, man. Because I remember the first time I ever heard Drake, bro, Best I Ever Had. That was the first song I ever listened to Drake, and I was like, yo, this shit is fire, yo. And then I remember downloading a bunch of mixtapes, right? So I know I downloaded So Far Gone, downloaded a couple other ones, but I remember the Trey Songz Drake track that I fucking loved was the one where they were, I just want to be success.
I just want to be.
Yeah.
Bro, I fucking love that track, man. And then I remember the song he did with Bun B. Bro, I was like, yo, this. Yeah, buddy. I was like, yo, this Drake dude, I don't know who the fuck he is. I just know he's Canadian and he loves Houston. And then when he did all the fucking, the oath, all the freestyles he did, basically pretty much saying like, yo.
Tony. It's a good thing that you mentioned that, because I think when he did that 5 a.m. in Toronto, that's when Drake solidified his place in the music industry, not just in Toronto music, but in the music industry. Because I think it was like 5 a.m. in Toronto, it was like 4 a.m. in Texas or something like that.
Yeah, bro. That's what I mean, bro. Drake definitely was an unofficial, for us out in H-Town, bro, he was our fucking Canadian adoptee. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew how definitely Houston, right? He had big love for Houston, because and Houston loved him back. Bro, literally, we loved Drake out in Houston, like we loved fucking Bun B and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Drake got co-signed by Bun B. He got co-signed by Lil Wayne, and all these guys that we love down south are fucking with this kid Drake. So of course we were like, yo, this motherfucker's hot to us too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, take this in though. Before Drake dropped 5 a.m. in Toronto, he had put out before that. I don't know if you guys remember this. 9 a.m. in Dallas.
That's the one. Yes. That's the track I was trying to remember.
That was the bonus track on Thank Me Later, 9 a.m. in Dallas.
Yeah.
That was hard.
That was a banger.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
And then before, on So Far Gone, he had done Houston Land of Vegas.
Yep, that's right. Houston Land, that shit was hot.
It was amazing.
Yeah, bro. So another thing, too, man, that I really want to show love for, because, I'm really what I'm loving so far with, Toronto sound is definitely that blow up is coming if it's not already here already.
Oh, it's here.
Another big thing that I feel like isn't talked about enough is the guys behind the boards, bro. The producers that are making music, man. In H-Town, in Atlanta, Houston, and like pretty much down south, bro. As great as, our artists were with the rhymes and just the swag and everything, right? Bro, the producers behind the boards were just amazing, bro. Like, these guys were literally dominating areas with their sounds. And to back that up, basically where I'm getting at now, that's what I see with Toronto, bro. 40 and Boy Wonder and all these guys, man. These guys behind the boards, bro. These guys are fucking incredible, man. What do you guys think about these producers, man? Like, what's y'all's thoughts on these guys?
Yo, even that boy from Barrie, what's his name, Sal?
No, he's not from Barrie. I think he's from St. Catharines. Murder on the beat, because it's not
That boy is nice, bro.
Yeah. And you guys forgetting about T-. You guys may not know T-, but he did a lot of songs like The Motto.
Yes.
He also, most recently, he did J. Cole's Middle Child.
Oh, really? Yeah, I remember, because I remember J. Cole, I think it was like one of his tracks mentoring T- and P+.
Yes. Okay. T- is crazy. He's from Whitby, too. Shout out to
really?
That boy's from Whitby.
Yeah, bro. You see what I'm saying? So you got T-, you got 40, you got Boy Wonder, which is apparently from Pickering. You got all these cats that are so great, bro. There's actually this, I bet you guys never heard of these guys. I heard of this little crew. They're called Bad Bad Not Good. They're a little fucking producer crew. And the reason I heard of them, because I was jamming an album that they did with Ghostface Killer from the Wu-Tang Clan. So of course I dove in because I'm like, because like the name of the album was like, Ghostface Killer / Bad Bad No Good, right? And then I forgot the name of the album. But dude, this shit was fire. And I was like, yo, who the hell is Bad Bad No Good? So I fucking Google them, and it's this crew of little white kids. I think they're from like fucking, Mississauga too or some shit. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's amazing.
That's crazy.
So yeah, bro, and that's what the one thing I think isn't, Toronto don't get enough props for, man, or in Canada in general, like the producers and the guys behind the boards out here, man, that are propelling. Because to me, without the beats, it don't matter how great the MC is, man. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. Dude, I've heard some amazing fucking MCs. I've heard some amazing rhymes, but the beats were so whack you can't even get through the song. You know what I mean?
That's hip hop today. Production is so advanced that you can just come on and mumble. It's gonna be a hit,
bro.
Yo, we forgot one person though, man. We forgot about the homegirl Wonder Girl.
Wonder Girl, okay.
Bro, I don't even know who it is, bro.
Wonder Girl, man. Jay-Z put her on. Travis Scott put her on a while ago. Let me see what song she did. She did a bunch of stuff on the new Travis Scott album. She's crazy, man. On the Astro World, she's crazy.
Good for her, man.
Yeah. Once she's from Brampton too, she did No Bystanders, the track with on the Travis album. That one was crazy.
Oh, good for her. That girl, I've never heard of her, bro.
She also did Antidote, Travis Scott's Antidote.
Get out of here. She did that track?
That's a big track too. Yeah, she's from Brampton. She did on Jay-Z's Magna Carta album, she did Crown.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And she did Bitch Better Have My Money.
Wow, yo, she's fire, dog.
She's from Brampton. Yeah, she's from Brampton too. Okay. She's young girl doing her thing.
Wow, yo, she's amazing. Yo, those tracks are all freaking bangers.
Yeah, man.
Bangers, bro. And when I was doing some Googling too, man, before the episode, the producers in Toronto, bro, to me are some of the best in the fucking game. So of course I wanted to see, what else have they done outside of the OVO camp, right? Bro, Boy Wonder and 40 has done so much music with so many guys.
You wouldn't believe it, man. Boy Wonder did Eminem's track. I'm not afraid.
Yeah, he also won a Grammy for Producer of the Year on the track he did with Eminem and Joyner Lucas. Lucky you. Bro, Boy Wonder won a Grammy for that song, and Boy Wonder produced it. I had no idea.
Shout out to Boy Wonder.
It's funny they mentioned that. Yo, I was it was like a battle between producers, right? And guess who was hosting it?
Who?
Boy Wonder. It was so dope. It was so fire, man. You had like all these producers coming in, like going against each other. So it's pretty much you play your track. If it's harder than the next man's track, you proceed to the next round. Yo, it was one of the dopest things I've ever been to. You know what I mean? So I have all the cats from all over Toronto, man, just coming to the stage. Oh man, you know, and then I think the winner wins $5,000. Can't remember. They won a large sum of money, right? But to me, I love that he was doing something like that to give the new age of Toronto sound that platform for them to expose their sound.
Definitely, bro. Let me pose this question to you guys. We'll start with you, Sal. As far as like all the success that Toronto's having with his artists and his music, Sal, do you think, and then we'll kick it out to Durrel, do you think that Drake gets too much credit, enough credit, or it needs to be credited enough to paving the way, especially for a lot of these guys that are doing their thing right now?
Well, you know, when you have an artist that is arguably one of the greatest artists of the last decades, I don't know if you can give him enough credit, right? You know what I mean? Like this, he's so influential, even in Toronto, all around the world, right? This guy drops the track the other day, the Tootsie Slides, #1 right away. So you really, if it wasn't for him, none of these guys wouldn't have any platform at all.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback exactly on what you said. As much, like I say this all the time, I'm not a Drake hater. It's just that all my homies are all Drake fanboys, right? So I don't really get a chance to enjoy a Drake track before they ruin it for me. you know what I mean? So like by the time I get to it, I'm already annoyed with the track. But then when I sit back and take Drake in, pause, it's like to me he doesn't get enough credit that is needed, because everyone is always looking at something, especially you going strong as he has been for the last 10-15 years, bro. You know
10 years.
This guy
years.
in 5 a.m. in Toronto, he said, I can't remember quote for quote what he said. He was like, some rappers come in the game 2 years and they're gone. I'm in the game 10 years. He's like, I'm in the game 10 years. I want to be in the game for 10 years. Something like that, or something along those lines. You know what I mean? So this guy pretty much saw his future and where his career was projected. And guess what? He was able to take, it's like LeBron James. Like for me, LeBron and Drake, in terms of basketball and hip hop, in this generation, they're head to head. You know what I mean? They don't get enough credit that they deserve, because everyone's always looking at something to critique them at. You know what I mean? And also, even like you said, Sal, with the Tootsie Slide, bro, that's a business. That's not even, scrap the music side, man. In terms of the business aspect of it, it's like, yo, all right, everyone's at home right now, quarantining. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to drop a gem for you guys. TikTok is booming. All right. I'm about to create something.
Make a TikTok song.
I'm about to create something that's going to blow up on TikTok, and it's going to blow up everywhere else once all the shit's over. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That alone, most artists envy that, because they're sitting down, why don't I have the exact same resources as Drake? It's because he knows his sound and he knows the right people that he needs to be around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. But we got to keep in mind too, before Tootsie Slide, he also had 2 other viral songs, In My Feelings and Hotline Bling. Those 2 songs sparked dances all over. I think Hotline Bling had the vibe when everyone was trying to dance like Drake. And In My Feelings, a couple summers ago, all the kids were doing the dance. So he knows how to make the songs that could
He's very innovative
to the young and old.
That's the thing about music, man. If you're not innovative with your craft, you're always going to be a step behind. He's always a step ahead, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake, like we said earlier, at age 30, especially in the music industry, most artists are on the downward spiral. But Drake just keeps going up, and every shit that he's dropping is a banger. You know what I mean? So that's one.
Can't wait for the new album, man. Can't wait for the new album, man.
Like I said, man, I'm probably not going to listen to that album until like 2022, because all my homies, they're going to like play the fuck out of that album. I'm just going to have to wait till it dies down, then I'll get to it.
100%, bro. So like another thing too, man, that I find that makes, Toronto unique, which we already touched on 1,000 times, but it's definitely the influential sounds from all over the world. Another thing that I find, because I think these guys like Party Next Door, Tory Lanez, and these guys they're amazing, man. But they're not getting as much love, I think, in the States as they should, right? But do you guys think that, are they trying to get too much love out in the States, or should they embrace the fact that they can go big worldwide versus just in North America, man? because think about Party Next Door and all these guys. Like Party Next Door is Jamaican, and then you got all these guys. You got Nav, who's a brown dude. Like he could blow up in India or something like that. So Sal, let us start with you. Do you think they should maybe focus more on their worldwide success, or should they really try to focus in on North America and then go from there?
I think, man, like it's hard to see because we live here, but I think they already have worldwide success, man. Because if you look at Party Next Door's latest song that he put out 3 weeks ago with Rihanna, 10 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a lot for sure.
That's not just Canada and America, man.
True. Yeah,
that's worldwide.
Yeah, like you said, Sal, I do agree with you. I think, especially Toronto artists, I believe personally, I think we get more of a global status than just a North American status, right? Because our sound is like hip hop is strictly North American. Like nowhere apart from outside of the United States and Canada, nowhere else around the world, hip hop is as dominant. And with that Toronto sound, it's so universal. A cat from the UK, because the UK sound and the Toronto sound is very similar. And also in terms of the cultural clashes. Now you have like Africans, Jamaicans, you have the West Indian people, the Indians, whatsoever, like especially in Toronto, that Toronto sound.
Big up West Indian.
We have so much culture that when we go behind the mic, we're able to relate to every sound preference. I think that's why our sound is so global and so easily adaptable by different regions of the world.
Yeah, that would be what I look at it too, man. Because like you, Sal, you're definitely right. 10 million views on some is definitely more than just North America. But just obviously now that I've been kind of messing around with, obviously trying to get our podcast out there a bit more, I've been looking into, global market growth versus just trying to grow our podcast listener base in North America, right? And the reason I'm going into that, because with that in mind, I started to discover artists from different countries, that are huge, that we've never heard about. You know what I'm saying? So it made me think, and I'm talking like legit MCs that are dope, but they're not big out in North America, but they're huge out in like, say India, Mexico, wherever they're popping, right? The UK, like they're popping hard, you know what I'm saying? But over here, we ain't never heard of them. They didn't even hit our radar until like I Google searched essentially, right? But I feel like Party Next Door and Nav, and there's a few other guys, man, that I've been jamming too, and I can't remember their names right now. But I'm like, man, these guys, given their nationalities, their backgrounds, I'm curious to know how hot they are on other sides of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like Nav, like you said, Sal, earlier, in terms of Nav, I think if he was younger, his name would have a stronger name now. Because he came into the game at such an old age, it's kind of hard for him to like push as hard as it was like 20, you know what I mean?
22.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Where do you guys think Toronto music is going to be, 5 years from now? Like, Sal, I'll let you kick it off.
I think we're in good hands, man, because it doesn't look like Drake's slowing down anytime soon. Doesn't look like The Weeknd slowing down anytime soon.
Don't forget that boy Beeps.
And if anything, man, Beeps, shout out to the homie Beeps, man. But there's a lot of talent in Canada.
So much.
And it's growing, man. It's growing, and it's beautiful to see like how far it's come. Beautiful to see how far it's come.
Definitely, man.
So I think we're in good hands.
We're in such good hands, man. We're in such good hands. Even especially with the cat that are in the top four right now in terms of Toronto music. Yeah, we got Pressa, we got Jessie Reyes, we got Justin Bieber.
Jessie.
You know what I'm saying?
She's Canadian.
We have, yeah.
She's Canadian, and she has a track with Eminem.
Dude, I thought she was from California. That's crazy.
Nah, fam. Canadian.
I saw her at the Tory Lanez concert the other day too. She was really good.
Hey, bro, she's following. She follows my sister's husband on Instagram.
Wow,
that's funny, yo.
Dude, like, I had no idea she was Canadian. And then also, to go into the pop world, man, we got we got amazing Toronto artists, man. You got Alyssa Cara, Alicia, Shawn Mendes. That boy's from our backyard out here too. You know what I mean?
Too much Canadians in the game now.
It's amazing, bro. It's amazing for sure. And I think
it's funny, man. Yo, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man. I just think that for whatever reason, though, bro. I mean, think about all these successful artists, producers in hip hop, R&B, pop, whatever you can think of, right? Are doing music with some of the biggest artists around the world. For whatever reason, and tell me if you guys agree or disagree, it still seems like Toronto's the underdog, just like the fucking NBA had us at the underdog last year.
We're used to it, man. We're used to it. That's all I gotta say to that. We're used to being the underdog.
But the thing is, I don't think it's us being the underdog. It's just that the Americans, well, you guys, But at the end of the day, it's still a competition. It's a war between two countries, basically. Canada's always felt like the younger brother to the United States.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's not like we're feeling that underdog pressure. It's just that we've always been one step behind in terms of the United States. So I don't think you guys are ready yet to pass over the torch. So we really have to earn that torch before you guys hand it over.
Bro, that's well fucking said, bro. That's so true, because I know, like, obviously being raised out in America, man, obviously down south, my experience was very southern compared to, because my experience from Houston is a lot different from somebody in New York City. But regardless, we both share the American come up. Yeah. But you're right, though. It's a fucking competitive world. But that's the thing, man. I find what makes it even greater, what Canada's doing, is that, like, they just putting out great music and great artists after great artists over and over again, and almost seem to be doing it. I don't want to say under the radar, but like kinda. You know what I'm saying?
It's like they're not really recognizing these artists as, well, apart from Canada, international, they're not really addressing them as Canadian artists. They're just saying they're just artists. Usually when you hear an artist on the radio, if you're not really well informed or whatsoever like that, you think automatically that artist is American.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though, especially in the United States, in terms of the entertainment industry, they have been dominating for so long that now that Canada is trying to like make some strides into that industry, it's going to take some time till we're well saturated in the industry. That's when we're going to get that notoriety. Even right now, it's only in Toronto, United States, that have over 50 states. In Canada, it's only Toronto that's really bumping and it's producing music. Like hard, like hip hop music, like the top hip hop artists, the top pop artists, most of them are from Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you pretty much have Toronto competing against the entire United States.
And you know what? And that's crazy, bro. And I don't even know why I missed it. And think about this, y'all, because all three of us, bro, there's probably somebody popping in Alberta or BC that we ain't even heard about yet. That's probably super dope. You know what I mean?
Well, on my Apple Music, there's a Montreal hip hop.
Really?
That I can go and look in. There's like 100 songs.
Wow. Yeah, bro. So what? That's amazing.
Ever heard anything that caught your attention yet?
I never clicked on it, to tell you the truth, just because I'm always so busy with the Toronto one. But you know what? Maybe one of these days, one of these quarantine days, you know what I'm saying? Might just
100%.
When mans get quarantine clean.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, bro. I mean, shit, we definitely running out close to an hour. So let's wrap it up with this, man. So let's just say, because obviously, Sal, you've heard a few of our episodes, man. So we got our TDP3, right? Let's do an honorary, bro. TDP3 for you. So if you were to pick 3 albums, but it has to be from Toronto artists that you can listen to top to bottom without skipping tracks, what are those 3 albums, bro?
All right, yo. This is kind of tricky because, there's, in the last recent years, there's been a lot.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The first one, I'm gonna have to go with Drake. Nothing was
big album that.
Oh jeez, from Tuscan Leather, which is the first track,
language,
all the way to the last track, which is I think the track with 2 Chainz and Big Sean. The album slaps, man. The album really, really slaps. And the second one I'm gonna have to go with, man, is Tory Lanez album, the one he put out in 2018.
Album is fire. Bust it down,
such a fire album with drip, yeah. With drip, drip. Meek Mill's on that one, that one is crazy. One of my favorite songs, Miami.
And then the other one, one track with 50 Cent.
That album, yeah. Oh no, that's Memories Don't Die.
Yeah.
That's Memories Don't Die. But Love Me Now, you would think, like, if you didn't know Tory Lanez was from Toronto, you would think this is an American album. It's got Chris Brown, Meek Mills, you know what I mean? It's crazy like that. It's got a song with your boy Trey Songz, Swing. Check the one out.
My way. Yeah, that's you ain't got no choice, dog.
That's a banger. Yeah, that's a banger, man. And another one I'm gonna have to go with is just The Weeknd's The Trilogy.
Yes,
like the 3 albums. I'm gonna have to steal one there and then take the trilogy. Yeah, it's actually 3 albums, because that is
it. Truly, I love Trilogy so much, bro. Like, one of the greatest things I've ever listened to. And that, I mean, and if anybody ever tries to debate us on that, I'm ready, because like that shit was every track, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool, man. So with that, to kind of keep the 3 theme, Because you've been to like how many OVO fests, Al?
I've been to a total of 4 Drake OVO fests, and then I saw him 4 times at also the ACC.
Nice.
8 Drake concerts.
For sure, bro. So what would you say are like, out of the OVO fest you went to and stuff like that? Because the reason I'm asking, man, because it's a worldwide event, man. People from all over the world come to this show. What are your 2 or 3 most memorable ones, man? Like what years, who was there, and what made it memorable?
So the first one I'm gonna have to say, actually let's go in order here. So the 3rd most memorable one was ironically the one when he had beef with the Meek Mill.
Oh, yo, I was at that one.
So that one, the whole concert, T-Guns, he actually had memes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Throughout the whole concert on big screen. It was just a different meme.
That's the concert Kanye came to, no?
That was the Kanye concert too, and that was amazing. Just to see Kanye at that time was amazing too. That was a really good one. The other one I'm gonna have to go with is the second most memorable time is when I saw the second one I went to. He brought out Stevie Wonder.
No way.
And Stevie Wonder as an artist so influential that I would have thought I would have ever seen him.
Definitely, that's major.
You know what I'm saying? And when I came home and I even told my mom, I'm like, yo, Moms, I saw Stevie Wonder tonight. She's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that was just crazy.
Did he see you?
That.
Bro. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was a memorable moment for me. And then I'm going to throw in a bonus moment here. Moment with Outkast's
Let's go.
Tour was the day 1 of the OVO Fest. So this was the day I went to both days. I went to the Outkast day and to the Drake day. So the Outkast day had Outkast, Lauryn Hill, and Bun B in Toronto. And that was amazing. That was completely amazing. And then for my number 1 moment at the OVO Fest was the very first year, because then I got to see Jay-Z and Eminem.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Within 10 minutes of each other. That was amazing right there. Seeing girls jumping over the fence to try to jump on the tour buses and stuff.
Wow.
Crazy, man.
That's amazing, bro. So you got to see Outkast, and obviously, y'all know Outkast is my favorite shit in the whole world. That's amazing, bro.
Yeah. Right at the last song, they did International Prayer Anthem. Your boy Bun B just came out of nowhere and just shut it down for us, man. It was a great treat, man. And very thankful, man. Very thankful. And definitely recommend to anyone who hasn't been to an OVO Fest, if you're lucky enough to get tickets. So once in a lifetime.
Most definitely. I second that.
Hell yeah. And that's amazing that you guys got to experience more than one, man. That's so fucking dope, bro. Like, that's so dope on so many levels. And honestly, man, I've as much, and this is a lot of people don't know about me, as much as I love music, I had never been to a concert before until I went to go see Kendrick Lamar at the ACC, bro, doing the, it was just his tour. He came, well, it was actually a second show, bro. He got so much love in Toronto, right? Because the show was on a Saturday night. He got so much love and they sold out so quick and the demand was so high to see him that he came back the following Wednesday for a second show, bro. And that sold out instantly. And bro, obviously on a Wednesday night, a work night, it was literally jam-packed. It was one of the greatest things I've ever experienced in my life, bro, because I think what made that show so unique for me was that being it's a work night, right? It's a Wednesday night. Everybody's going to a show that's about to start 7:30, 8 o'clock. I feel like everyone that was there was like a super fan, you know what I mean? Because they were willing to, be at work late the next day or whatever, bro. But I remember every song he did, everyone in the stands, everybody, including myself, we were singing word for word, rapping word for word, bro. It was unbelievable, bro. Literally one of the greatest experiences of my life, man. I remember when he did All Right. Oh my God, literally the whole stadium, bro. Everybody literally bouncing up and down, just jumping. We gonna be all right. Oh man, so I can only imagine, bro, the feelings. And the reason I tell a story is, again, I can only imagine the feelings that you guys had, seeing some of your favorite artists, at a show. And when I finally got to experience one of my favorite artists like that, I'm like, yo, why haven't I not been going to shows more often? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, broski.
Sure. Definitely, bro. So to round it out, man, to keep that theme, but to keep it Toronto, who would you say, Sal, are 3 Toronto artists outside of Drake that you feel the world needs to listen to, man?
For sure, man. So again, we mentioned his name before, but I'm just gonna have to mention it again because he's such a hard-working individual. And this is Nav, man. This guy just put out a new track called Turks with your boy from Houston, Travis Scott, Tony. So it's Nav and Travis Scott and Gunna. That song just slaps, man. That song was a really, really good song. Other than that, let's see. There's another cat. I don't know if you guys heard of him too. He's from Toronto. He's doing a lot of big things. His name is Houdini.
Oh, yeah, I heard that cat. Yeah.
Yeah, Houdini, man. He's making a lot of big tracks right now, man. He's got a nice flow, and his songs very make you want to party, man. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, Houdini. And then the last person. This is so hard. You know what I mean? It's so hard because there's a lot, but there's this one track my little cousin put me on, man, and it's crazy. It's called Toronto. The track is called Toronto, and it's by Key and Kenny B, right? And I just want the viewers and everyone to check that one out when they get a sec. Toronto, and it's just a vibe.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure, bro. For sure. Yeah, definitely, man. That's amazing. Durrel, you got anything you want to add to that, my broski?
Yeah. So, what do you think about that boy Roy Wood? He should be bigger than what he is now, man.
Roy Woods, man. I seen the cat live when I went to the couple Drake concerts and things like that. And the cat is really good live talent, man. And same with Division, man. Division.
Yo, the album they dropped last night.
Those guys are crazy. Yo, the album is amazing, man.
Yo, Tony, I'm going to add that to another list of albums that I can listen to from start to finish without skipping.
All right. That's what's up. I'll jam that tonight, bro, for sure. Because so right now I'm on the Party Next Door one, and I'm loving it, man. Big time.
Yeah. I'm going to get to that tonight.
Definitely.
Yeah, easy, man. Division there's a lot of music that he's done. If you guys ever listen, you can listen to all his albums front to back.
Hell yeah. No, I'm definitely, man, like, you know, now that, you know, I'm really jumping into, I really want to get into more music outside of our, you know, my bubble, you know, that boom bap southern music that I pretty much come from. That's why I started diving into a lot more Toronto artists. And I discovered this young guy from here, our neck of the woods here in Scarborough, named Quincy. His Instagram's at Fine Quincy. I think he's got an album on the way. But this dude, man, is amazing. And he's literally one of these guys that, like, he ain't even as big as Division, these guys yet. And what I see...
Oh, yeah, I remember you forwarded me his profile.
Yeah, bro, but what this guy's going to do... Sal, I'll throw you his Instagram, too. But, you know, to me, that's that next wave, that third wave that I experienced in Houston as well. The talent that's about to come out of this city, bro, is about to be endless. You know, it's going to be, I think, eventually a music mecca like a New York, like a Houston, like an Atlanta. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Definitely. But with that, bro, we'll go ahead and wrap this up, man. We'll definitely, you know, maybe look to do a round two, maybe a little more focused in. But Sal, bro, we appreciate you so much for jumping on. I know you love the city. Your big ups, you know, for the Raptors and the music, man. That's why we had to have you on this episode with us, man. So we really appreciate you jumping on with us for sure.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Hopefully, we get a chance to get together soon. Go grab a little brewski, you know?
Yo, you guys remember when we won the chip and we went out partying?
Bro.
Yes, sir.
What a great night that was, bro. Fuck, that was an awesome night. 100%.
We gotta do that.
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely, bro. Once this COVID shit's over, bro, the fucking, man, it's gonna hit different that day, bro, when we can all reunite again and throw some brews back.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
For that first sip.
Yeah, bro. I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see you guys again, man, and we'll fucking be able to do this, you know, in person. But with that, man, we go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Thanks everybody for tuning in today. Thank you all, everyone, for listening. And Sal, once again, we appreciate you very much for coming through today. Hopefully we see you soon, so we get a chance to just vibe to just Toronto sound, you know, and sound around the world. But yes, that's it for us. Durrel out. That's all you want. Let the fans know anything about yourself before we head out.
Thank you guys so much for listening. You know, again, thank you TDP family. Thank you to T Guns, the homie Tony, Durrel. You know, enough love for having me on the show. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, just thank you guys enough, man. You guys are doing some great things. You guys are working hard. And just keep it up, man. Keep up the hard work. Keep up the...
Hell yeah. We appreciate that, bro. All right, man. Well, shit, for the world out there, it's your boy TG.
Your boy Durrel. Sal.
TDP out, baby.